It's really unfortunate how a lot of people don't know about the Google Pixel lineup of smartphones. We all know of the iPhones, the Samsungs, and everything in between, but the Pixel lineup just isn't popular enough. So I've been using this phone for a few months now, and I'd like to highlight some of the best features that this phone nails. The first feature is the fingerprint sensor. The Pixel 2 without a doubt has one of the fastest fingerprint sensors of any phone, even comparable to Touch ID on the iPhone 8 Plus. It's extremely accurate and works 99% of the time, and is still faster than Face ID. I personally don't have a problem with its placement either, since it's natural to put your finger at the back of the phone, where the fingerprint sensor resides. Only when the phone is placed down on a table does it add an extra step, but then again, I'm being nitpicky here. The second reason is fluid software. Now, as any stock Android enthusiast would say, it's really fast. Like, there's no other way to say it, but I can't tell how good it feels to switch to a blazing fast phone coming from the Galaxy S8, which had some clunky software. And this sort of brings me back to the days of the Nexus 4 and the Nexus 5, where software takes priority. The UI is simple and elegant, multitasking is smooth and quick, and will always be the fastest version of Android. In Android Pie, the multitasking tray looks more like the iPhone's, which I sort of like. Meanwhile, Google Assistant can be triggered by squeezing the phone, and yes, it is still smarter than Siri.
My intelligence is artificial, it's true.
The third highlight feature is camera and speakers. Those are two. As many would call it the best smartphone camera, the Pixel 2 is certainly deserving of its title. The photos it takes are sharp, detailed, and not too saturated either. Low-light shots are great, and shots are stable thanks to OIS. Until the Pixel 3 comes around, the Pixel 2 probably takes the crown as the best smartphone camera. It is debatable, but we all know it is. Who needs a DSLR now? The speakers are, more often than not, the most overlooked feature of a smartphone. And while it isn't a make or break feature, having a great set of speakers exemplifies the audio experience. The fourth highlight feature is the fast charging and battery. The Pixel 2 goes from 0 to 15% in 10 minutes, perfect for when you gotta leave soon and you need some battery. Modern smartphones have caught up in the fast charging and wireless charging game, so this is no exception. Now, I prefer fast charging over wireless charging any day, since I prefer speed over the negligible convenience of not having to plug in your phone. Battery life is great on the Pixel 2 XL. Now, your experience with the non-XL version of the Pixel 2 might differ. I typically get around a full day if I'm on heavy use, and even more on the lighter days. Standby time is typically great. When I leave the phone overnight, it loses at most 2 to 3%, which is a pretty good standard. Let's face it, folks. The last and the most important highlight feature of the Pixel phones are the updates. Let's face it, even the flagship Android phones struggle to get the newest update, and if they do, it'll be when the next version of Android is out. The whole idea behind the Pixel phones, similar to the previous generation of the Nexus phones, is to act as the representative of Android. A phone which would represent and receive the best of Android and the future of Android. Crucial for security. And since security is like one of the most crucial elements of any organization, business, or technology, it can't be ignored. The quote, "Android is a fragmented mess," is a statement that is thrown around quite often, especially by those who are frustrated with the lack of updates and the support in the long term. The Pixel lineup is one of the only few which promises to give the best of Android. And to be fair, if you want to feel the speed of Android, guarantees of updates, and the best cameras, the Pixel 2 is still the best way to go, Until the Pixel 3 comes around, of course. The Pixel lineup is very reminiscent of the Nexus 4, at least in terms of software. Simple, beautiful, and beyond smart. I guess this tagline of Android KitKat still applies to the Pixel 2.